Good afternoon, I'm Vashan Brown with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. A reminder as well that you can watch TVJ live by downloading our One Spot Media app in the Google Play Store. More details this afternoon on the alleged rape of a 9-year-old girl at the Strathmore Gardens Children's Home in St. Catherine. The matter is being investigated by several state agencies, including the police. State Minister in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, Floyd Green, says the investigation has revealed that the accused is a male ward of the state who was also living in the facility.
Clearly, it is also a little bit more sensitive as the matter involves two children. So the police has to also take that into account in how they investigate. Because the offense is of, and the allegation is of a sexual nature, again, we also have to be careful in relation to our reporting mechanisms.
The allegation is that the 9-year-old girl was raped on Labor Day. The Office of the Children's Advocate, which is also investigating, says it will be releasing a statement later today. The Education Ministry says it's increasing efforts to sensitize students about human trafficking by introducing the subject to primary schools. Director of Safety and Security in Schools, Assistant Superintendent of Police Coolidge Minto, made the disclosure on TVJ's Smile Jamaica program on Thursday. He explained that the human trafficking curriculum is currently being taught in every high school and it will be modified for introduction in primary schools.
So it's done through the health and family life education as one of those areas that we teach it as part of the curriculum in the schools. The objective is to ensure that all our students are aware of human trafficking. So the curriculum is done and we're now rolling, well, it has been rolled out already in our schools. And as part of that initiative now, we are doing a number of sensitization and going into the parenting groups, into the communities to ensure that they too are also aware of trafficking in persons.
In a report released on April 30 this year, Jamaica was named among 12 other countries where potential victims of sexual exploitation and forced labor were rescued. 10 days later, the police and the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, reported that they were probing a suspected human trafficking ring in Portmore, St. Catherine, following the arrests of 2 Haitians and a Ghanaian national. The Papine Market in St. Andrew was significantly damaged by fire this morning. It's understood that a section of the roof caved in and several stalls were destroyed. Assistant Commissioner of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Sean Martin, says the fire started sometime after 1 o'clock.
At approximately 1:41 a.m., we received a call of market on fire in Papine. The fire brigade responded with 3 units from Trenchtown, Wellington Town, and After Tree Fire Station. We used 2 medium jets to basically bring the fire under control and subsequently extinguish it. When the fire concluded, we realized that the market was extensively damaged, which say approximately 40% of the market area was damaged. However, there is a section of the market that probably can do some renovation and allow vendors to operate.
Councillor for the Papine Division, Venetia Phillips, says she was alerted to the fire by the watchman who reported seeing flames coming from the front of the market. At news time, Mayor of Kingston, Delroy Williams, as well as several other councillors were still touring the facility assessing the damage. Transport Minister Robert Montague says the problem of leaky JUTC buses should be eliminated in another month. He told the Lower House on Wednesday that the company has already repaired 40 of the 85 buses which were leaking. He said the JUTC is on track to repair the rest in the coming weeks. A leading figure in the public transportation sector is predicting strong resistance among local players should the government approve Uber-type companies to operate in Jamaica. On Wednesday, Transport Minister Robert Montague disclosed that the government currently has 2 applications for rideshare permits. Based on the Uber concept in the United States and some other countries, individuals use their own vehicle or a fleet partner's vehicle to pick up passengers for an agreed fare. President of the National Council of Taxi Associations, Dion Chance, responded on RGR's Beyond the Headlines on Wednesday. He said it would be unfair to his members who currently bear huge costs associated with securing public passenger vehicle
Knowing
licenses.
the persons that I represent
they will pack up those red plates and show them where you can't even find them, because there are so many fees attached to it now that I'm telling you that if an Uber comes and starts to dig into the income, they are going to turn those plates in, and there's no doubt about it.
Mr. Chan says there should be wide consultation with local stakeholders on the matter. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Dr. Diane McIntosh, says the Jamaica Constabulary Force has received 6 more vehicles from O'Brien's International Car Sales. The Permanent Secretary was providing an update on the controversial deal at the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, PAAC, on Wednesday. She said the number of cars delivered now stands at 36. She also told the PAAC that the matter was formally reported to the fraud squad last month.
We still have to finalize a date for mediation, and before doing so, we intend also to advise Cabinet that this is the direction that we're now moving, and to get an approval or okay on the parameters of that process of mediation. To date also, we're able to, in addition to the performance bond that we spoke about, having received the 42 million, I think in January, we've also received from Mayberry 1.8 million.
In a TVJ News follow-up, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says an oversight body has been appointed to monitor the work that is currently being done at the Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James. Dr. Tufton says it will be chaired by the University of the West Indies principal, Professor Archibald MacDonald.
That team has just started. They visited the facility last week to get a full update. And they are going to provide advice and updates on the pace and the progress of the work. So at some point, that committee will speak publicly on the issues. We just have to give them a little time to be brought up to speed fully on what is happening.
2 opposition members are taking the government to task for failing to truthfully and adequately address national issues. Opposition Senator Damien Crawford and Manchester Northwestern MP Michael Phillips were addressing the PNP Divisional Conference at the Warminster Community Centre in St. Elizabeth on the weekend. TVJ's Krista Campbell has the details.
MP and opposition spokesman on Transport and Works, Michael Phillips, took issue with what he deemed Prime Minister Andrew Holness's silence on national issues plaguing his government.
We have seen where ministers have been called out in OCG reports and not a word from Holness. We see where ministers get involved in old car for police. Prime Minister don't say a word. We say, where Jackass car next door, JC, in problems with RADA and the PMOs. Prime Minister don't say a word.
He insists the Prime Minister's silence is tantamount to condoning corruption, which he pointed out is the very issue Mr. Holness had promised to treat with priority when he first took office in 2016. Public health remains an area of concern for the PNP, and opposition Senator Damien Crawford took on the issue at the PNP meeting.
We have a system where them say some women go to a government hospital and the babies died. And when the lady say, why my baby died, them say it's a natural thing because you have bacteria in your vagina. And somehow, none of the private hospital, them ladies now have no bacteria in them vagina.
He stressed the need for greater accountability on issues including the recent removal of dead babies from the compound of the Victoria Jubilee Hospital in downtown Kingston.
Not only did the babies die, the man them never even have enough respect to dispose of the babies in the right way. Now people, enough time when a woman go to hospital and have a baby, she's so hurt that she don't even want to carry the dead baby because you have to leave hospital with a dead baby. So she just say, you deal with it. But she go home and she's still in her stress and she's still in her pain. Because you carry something for 9 months. Sometimes she blame all herself, say one time she drink some liquor and she shouldn't drink no liquor. And she leave that in your care and the next thing she read is that dog is eating her baby. And somehow, because of our baby, we're not really business.
The cleaning of a freezer at the hospital morgue, as well as storage problems, are being investigated as some of the reasons behind the incident. The morgue supervisor has been sent on leave while the matter is being investigated. Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
10-digit dialing is now mandatory in Jamaica. Effective this morning, callers have been prompted to dial 876 before local numbers. 10-digit dialing applies to both mobile and landline calls. However, the island's two main telecommunications companies, Flow and Digicel, will allow dialing until October 30. During this period, customers who dial 7 digits will hear a recording reminding them that 10-digit dialing is in effect before the call is connected. On November 1, if a caller fails to use the new dialing regime, the individual will be asked to hang up and dial again using the 10 digits. Meanwhile, the new 658 area code will not take effect until the 876 code is exhausted. This afternoon, a warning to farmers about some habits which are attracting thieves. Coordinator of the Farm Watch program, Sergeant Maurice McLean, was addressing a recent forum in Clarendon as TVJ's Krista Campbell now reports.
Idle lands fall into idle hands. According to the police, it's a reality that's making the issue of farm theft more challenging. So, coordinator of the Farm Watch program, Sergeant Maurice McLean, is warning against leaving animals unattended on large unused lands.
If you have these huge properties, sell some. Give away some, lease some, hand over some to the community and say do some farming. Whatever the produce come, put it at the center. Send it to the basic school, send it to the church. Have some community engagement. Look out for the persons they shut in. And you have the community members cook some food every week. Have a program running in your community that you can say, yes, utilize the land space for something else.
He also cautioned farmers in Clarendon that some of their actions also create opportunities for persons they employ to steal from them.
You can imagine you leave me to feed 4,000 chickens every evening. I mean, run the evening shift. And when you come, you say, oh, the bag they're empty, so the chicken then feed. No must feed. Me can't have one set of empty bag of throw down every day, girl. And the bag feeding then up on my shoulder and load now and truck and gone. What we are saying, rotate your workers. Make them feel uncomfortable in terms of, say, what the boss are going to do today? You understand? And you say, all right, Mikey, you come today. You work around us today. You work around us today. Shift them up.
Then there are other actions, he says, that make farmers easy targets for thieves. Sergeant McLean relayed a recent report from a farmer.
He buy a mist blower. And the box the mist blower coming in. He put it out in farmhouse right out the gate there, so. I'm gonna walk past. I want an empty box. What? John buy mist blower. Go for that. And broke his house and take it. You know, advertise them things, man. If the manual will come with the piece of tool, if the manual is important, keep it in your place and burn out the box.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
The Ministry of Education says all is in place for the rollout of the Primary Exit Profile PEP for the new school year this September. Manager in the Ministry's Student Assessment Unit, Terry-Ann Thomas-Gale, says PEP will be done over a 3-year period from grades 4 to 6. Speaking at a JIS think tank session recently, she explained that PEP will focus on 4 main subjects: mathematics, language arts, science, and social studies.
The students will be assessed at grade 4, grade 5, and grade 6. At grade 4, the students will do a performance task. The performance task will be based on the grade 4 curriculum, and it will be done at the end of grade 4. So the students will get a performance task in language arts and mathematics at the end of grade 4. In grade 5, the students will be assessed at the end of grade 5. They will get a performance task in language arts, mathematics, social studies, and science. The assessment is on the curriculum, and in so doing, we have to assess at the end of the school year because we want to ensure that the teachers are indeed implementing the curriculum at the different grades level.
Mrs. Thomas Gale added that students in grade 6 will only be tested on what they were taught in grade 6. At the end of each assessment, a report on the students' performance will be done. This will facilitate programs customized to prepare students for the high school level. We go now to sports. Jamaica's sprint relay team of Usain Bolt, Safa Powell, Michael Frater and Nesta Carter from the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing will not be given back their gold medal. This as Nesta Carter lost his appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport against the IOC's decision to strip the medals last year. The Switzerland-based court handed down the ruling this morning, 6 months after the appeal was heard on November 15, 2017. The panel concluded that the reanalysis of the Carter's sample collected following the race at the Beijing 2008 Olympic Games confirmed the presence of methylhexanamine. The appeals panel also said it could not accept any of the arguments raised by Nesta Carter, which contended that the test results should be ignored or the IOC's decision should otherwise be returned or be overturned for certain alleged failures. The court also ruled that issues linked with fault or negligence are not relevant since sanctions such as ineligibility or disqualification from other events were not at stake here. The three-member CAS panel also ruled that Carter should pay 5,000 Swiss francs to the IOC as contribution towards their legal costs and expenses incurred in connection with the proceedings. And that's the Midday News. I'm Vashon Brown. Join us at 7 for Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, have a good afternoon.